Hare Krishna. I wanted to share a little bit about my realization today. When I produced the course materials over the course of the summer, it's a lot of copying and pasting. In other words, it's the texts from Krishna book and then the purport, the texts and purports from Sartha Darshan. It's a lot of kind of mechanical activity. So when we actually begin the course, as we're going through these topics, I'm also much more involved in them than simply cutting and pasting. And of course, I read them as I did it, but it wasn't a thorough study. So now, as we're going through it, I read them. Samapriya also reads them. We share that. That's wonderful having that association. And during japa, I try to read some, then do some japa, then read some. And this morning I was realizing I'm living in the wrong realm. I'm not where I should be. That's not just a mentality. It's an environment, it's a reality, it's a circumstance. So if I'm not in the right realm, dimension, the question arises, how do I get there? Simultaneous to our readings here online, we have a Chaitanya Charitamrita reading group of God brothers and God sisters here in Alachua, and we're reading the instructions to Srila Rupa Goswami. And it's exactly what Lord Chaitanya is explaining to Rupa Goswami in the story and narration and instructions about the Bhakti Lata Bij, the seed within the heart. And the way to make it grow in this age is Shravanam Kirtanam, hearing and chanting. By our hearing and chanting, we're developing our mentality and our consciousness to be transferred to that realm when we leave this body. At least that's the goal, to attain Krishna Prema and enter that realm eternally. So let us proceed on the path with some Shravanam and Kirtanam about Krishna's intimate. To open it up a little bit, I realized that the loving sentiments, the subtleties, the soul level of purity in love is not what's experienced in this material world. It's tinged with the modes of material nature. So hearing these intimate pastimes of Krishna opens a whole new path to that dimension. So we're reading from Krishna book, chapter 32, I think. Texts 10 through 15. Beautiful painting here. When Krishna entered the forest on the bank of the Jamuna, the moonlight dissipated the surrounding darkness. Due to the season, flowers like the kunda and kadamba were blooming, and a gentle breeze was carrying their aroma. Due to the aroma, the bees were also flying in the breeze, thinking that the aroma was honey. The gopis made a seat for Krishna by leveling the soft sand and placing cloths over it. Samapriya, can we have some more readers continue this nectar? You have to unmute.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Nice to see everyone here. Let's begin tonight with Bahushara. Would you like to read?
The gopis who were gathered there were mostly all followers of the Vedas. In the previous births, during Lord Ramachandra's advent, they were Vedic scholars who desired the association of Lord Ramachandra in conjugal love. Ramachandra gave them the benediction that they would be present for the advent of Lord Krishna and he would fulfill their desires. During Krishna's advent, the Vedic scholars took birth in the shape of the gopis in Vrindavan. As young gopis, they got the association of Krishna and fulfillment of their previous birth's desire. The ultimate goal of their perfect desire was attained, for they were so joyous, they had nothing further to desire. This is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. If one attains the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then he has no desire for anything. When the gopis had Krishna in their company, not only all their grief, but their lamenting in the absence of Krishna was relieved. They felt they had no desire to be fulfilled. Fully satisfied in the company of Krishna, they spread their cloths on the ground. These garments were made of the linen and smeared, if you can bring it up,
Sorry.
And smeared with the kumkum which decorated their breasts. With great care, they spread a sitting place for Krishna. Krishna was their life and soul, and they created a very comfortable seat for him. Sitting on the seat amongst the gopis, Krishna became more beautiful. Great yogis like Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, or even Lord Seish, and others always try to fix their attention upon Krishna in their heart. But here the gopis actually saw Krishna seated before them on their cloths. In the society of the gopis, Krishna looked very beautiful. They were the most beautiful damsels within the three worlds, and they assembled together around Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, let's just have one more reader and then we'll have a little talk about this. Okay. Thakur, are you there? Thakur Murari?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, would you like to read?
Yes, I can read. Okay, it may be asked, hearing how Krishna seated himself beside so many gopis and yet sat alone. There is a significant word in this verse, Ishara. As it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Ishara Sarva Bhutanam. Ishara refers to the Supreme Lord as the Super Soul seated in everyone's heart. Krishna also manifested this potency of expansion as Paramatma in this gathering with the gopis. Krishna was sitting by the side of each gopi, unseen by the others. Krishna was so kind to the gopis that instead of sitting in their hearts to be appreciated in yogic meditation, he seated himself by their sides. By seating himself outside, he showed special favor to the gopis, who were the selected beauties of all creation.
Okay. So we had a nice discussion this morning about how that was possible. How is this happening? How Krishna is seating himself next to each gopi and no one else can see him, just that one gopi. Does anyone have any idea about that?
Well, it has to be, it's this transcendental mystic power, because all the jivas have these mystic powers, but they're covered now. But for Krishna, he is the master of all the mystic powers, so he can create any size, shape, form, division, boundary line that he wants.
Okay.
There was one other thing that was earlier that when I was reading, it was talking about how when the gopis came before Krishna like that, there was no more desires, there was no more hankering. And so it's the same way. I remember, it's not exactly the same, but it's a shadow reflection. Is when the devotees would go in front of Prabhupada, they had so many questions, and when they go in front of Prabhupada, all of a sudden, the questions are gone.
That's very good. Okay, well, that's one aspect, his mystic power.
I have one question.
Okay, Jatari, what's your question? And then Mukunda will tell us his realization.
Did those sages have remembrance, or did the gopis who are now previously sages, did they have remembrance of the fact that in their previous life? Anybody know?
Did they consciously walk around that with remembrance? Like
no, did they remember their previous incarnation?
No, they wouldn't be able to act in the roles that they were playing or in their constitutional position. Mukunda, does that answer it, Jatari?
I think so.
Yeah, okay. Mukundaji.
Yeah. The way the gopis see Krishna as being alone with him is described that when praying becomes very intense, an example is given. If you're sitting in a swimming pool with many, many people around, you're conscious of the people, the sounds going on, everything. But when you dive into the water, you become oblivious to everything else, even though it's there. In the same way, when their praying becomes very intense, they enter into that depth of that praying, they become oblivious to everything else except their association with Krishna.
Okay, that's also okay. I have a different, just a little bit different angle on it coming from the material world. We know the Paramatma is in everybody's heart. And the Paramatma has a relation. We have a relationship. I'm walking around with Krishna in my heart, having a full discussion with him, and someone else might be doing that. And I'm not looking at that person and saying, "Wow, I see Krishna in his heart," and they're having a conversation. So in the same way, I was thinking that that is what's being exhibited. That Paramatma feature of Krishna being as in his eternal form as Bhagavan Sri Krishna, being in the gopis' heart, coming out of each heart, but each gopi is only aware of Krishna sitting next to him, because actually it's happening on a spiritual platform on another level. That was my understanding of it. Mukunda, you still have your hand up?
I'm sorry, I just had it up, but
Okay.
yeah, there is a verse that describes it. It's called Moheya Bhave Sava Atmana Vismaranam Sada. One feature of Ruda Bhav is, I gave the example of it, but that's the verse that describes it. Without fainting, one becomes completely oblivious to everything else except their association with Krishna, even when they're in the companies of others. When the gopis ran, when they were called for Ras Leela, even though millions of gopis were running to meet Krishna, no one else saw anyone else running.
They didn't see each other. They came with each other, though. So they came with each other and they were associating with each other. So
when they got
them
there,
see each other.
when you read the description of when they were running to go to the Ras Leela, when they heard the flute, it says they were running and they were oblivious to anybody else going.
It's transcendental Ras. Okay. All right. That's kind of far out. All right. Shall we? Let's go on now, and we'll just keep building on this beautiful theme here. There's a new devotee with a Sudha Sindhu. Would you like to read Sudha Sindhu?
Yes, can.
Hare Krishna, Sudha Sindhu. Welcome.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, so why don't you read a little for us too?
Encircled by the gopis, who were now relieved of all distress, Lord Achyuta, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, shone forth splendidly, my dear King. Krishna thus appeared like the super soul encircled by his spiritual potency. Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura, Sativir means with the potencies of all the senses. A person attains splendor when endowed with the power of all his senses, and appears miserable if there is a disorder of his senses. In the same way, when the gopis were distressed, Krishna himself also felt distressed, and did not shine forth so much. But when the gopis were relieved of all their unhappiness of separation, and felt renewed attraction to him, Krishna looked even more beautiful than ever. Just as a person
experiences
pleasure when his own senses feel pleasure, and feels distress when his own senses feel distress, similarly, Krishna feels happy when the gopis are happy and sad when they are sad. This establishes the truth that Krishna had pure transcendental love for the gopis, and that they were direct emanations from Krishna's personal form, Swarupa Bhuta. This point is described in the Prabhasa Kanda of the Skanda Purana. There were 16,000 gopis assembled at the Rasa dance. In their midst, like the best of swans, was the Paramatma, Janada Krishna, or Parvati Devi. These gopis are glorified as the 16 Saktis, personal potencies of Krishna. Sri Krishna is compared to the moon, and these 16 principal gopis are his faces. When they come together, they are like a garland of the 16 faces of the moon. These 16 parts are each further divided into 16 more gopis, each existing with separate bodies and emotions. The Agamas say, at the Rasa Mandala, Krishna appeared most splendid, surrounded by 3 billion beautiful gopis.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Do you have any understanding of this that you'd like to share with us, Sidhu? Sindhu?
Yeah, my
Anyone?
understanding is when Krishna is always with us and he can feel us. So I mean, from my own experience. So when we are happy, then he also feel happy, and sad, and he also feels sad. This is a story that I heard before from one story. When Lord Jagannath shed tears when one of his favorite devotees passed away, the Mataji who always cook for him every morning.
Okay.
So that's how I get to know Krishna also feels sad for his devotee.
Yeah, he's reciprocal. That's also
Yeah.
there, reciprocal. You know, he doesn't like to see the devotees suffer at all. Thank you. Anyone else want to speak something about this verse? Okay. Pati, did you want to say something about this?
I think one of the main points that's being focused on is that now that Krishna is in the association of the gopis, both of them, all of them and him, are shining forth more brilliantly, more enlivened, more animated than they were when they were alone. And the example was given that just as when one feels sick, if one of the senses, what to speak of if more of the senses, if the senses aren't functioning properly, when one's not feeling well, then their whole demeanor becomes very much diminished. So this example's here. It says, my dear king, Krishna, thus, what to say, encircled by the gopis, who are now relieved of all distress. Lord Achyuta, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, shone forth splendidly. My dear King Krishna thus appeared like the Supersoul, encircled by his spiritual potencies. So everything has become more and more enhanced, although the atmosphere was also already so beautiful. Now it's even more so, to set the scene for further texts.
Wow. I think it's interesting how it's there's so much reference to the Paramatma. For me to think of the Paramatma or Krishna situated in everyone's hearts and everyone having a relationship with him is helping me to understand a little bit of this whole Rasa Leela. I don't know. I really appreciate that part. So let's go on. Jatari, why don't you read for us?
Thank you. Thank you. Sartha Darshini, text 11 through 12. The Almighty Lord then took the gopis with him to the bank of Kalindi, who, with the hands of her waves, had scattered piles of soft sand upon the shore. In that auspicious place, the breeze, bearing the fragrance of blooming kunda and mandara flowers, attracted many bees, and the abundant rays of the autumn moon dispelled the darkness of night. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, holding the hands of the gopis and laughing, Krishna looked especially wonderful as he approached the bank of the Yamuna. The splendor of the riverbank is described in 1.5 verses. The breeze along the Yamuna's bank was fragrant with the blossoming kunda and mandara flowers. We can infer that the wind coming off the river was cool, and it was also gentle because bees were circling within it. The abundant rays of the autumn full moon dispelled the darkness. The river bank was most auspicious and gave great pleasure. With the hands of her waves, Yamuna Devi had spread out soft sand for the pleasure of Krishna.
Wonderful. So this is setting the scene nicely. Hare Krishna. Can you see that? Do you see something else there, Jatari? Would you like to speak?
Well, I really love the hands of the Yamuna, the referring to the Kalindi, is that what Yamuna Kalindi?
Kalindi is, yeah. Yamuna.
Yeah, I really like that. The way it's all described, it's just very it's very visual,
Yeah,
it's very
beautiful.
just
Very nice description.
and Krishna taking the hands of the gopis. Wow. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
wonderful.
In the very beginning of our study back in October, you might remember that we read about different features of rasa. And under the category of vibhava, there were two categories. One was alambana, which included the different participants, the ashaya and the vishaya and the ashraya. Who remembers what the other category of vibhava was? And this is an example of it. Raise your hand rather than just blurting it out.
Mhm.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Sama.
Udipan?
Udipan.
Yeah.
Udipan means the atmosphere, the features of nature, or even of Krishna's dress or the gopis' dress, the stimulants, those items which excite rasa, which excite the conjugal mood between the gopis and Krishna. So this whole atmospheric description is a very integral part of the rasa dance. I mean, we've heard this from the very first verse when it said, when the moon began to rise. Similarly, the desires start to rise. Now Krishna's returned. He's come back after being separated from them. They're all very much animated and in love with one another. And the pleasant atmosphere on the banks of the Jamuna being so nicely described. And you can hear in the purport, Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur, listen to the verse and listen to his realization. The Almighty Lord then took the gopis with him to the bank of the Kalindi, who, with the hands of her waves, had scattered piles of soft sand on the shore. In that auspicious place, the breeze, bearing the fragrance of blooming kunda and mandara flowers, attracted many bees, and the abundant rays of the autumn moon dispelled the darkness of night. And he picked out, in his purport, the breeze along the Jamuna's bank was fragrant with blossoming kunda and mandara flowers. We can infer that the wind coming off the river was cool, and it was also gentle because bees were circling within it. I love that. He's actually there, so clarity that he's understanding the breeze must have been soft enough so that the bees were attracted by the fragrance of the flowers, but not disturbed by strong breezes, which would make it difficult for them to buzz around.
Yeah, we can see how important the Udipan is.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Somebody put a chat in there.
Well, that happens sometimes. Why don't we go on with Mukunda reading?
Okay. Hold on.
Are we studying a Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur or the verse?
No, the
The
verse.
verse.
Their heartache vanquished by the ecstasy of seeing Krishna, the gopis, like the personified Vedas before them, felt their desires completely fulfilled. For their dear friend Krishna, they arranged the seat with their shawls, which were smeared with the kumkum powder from their breast. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. This verse describes the gopis' services rendered to Krishna in pure love, befitting their attitude of intimate friendship. Atma Bandhave. All the distress in the minds of the young girls of Raj was removed by the ecstasy of seeing Krishna. They arranged the seat for their dear friend by using their shawls, which were sprinkled with kumkum from their breast. The Shrutis attained the highest platform of desire fulfillment Upon seeing Krishna enjoying with the gopis, the Shrutis thought, when will we become Raj gopis and offer the kumkum tin shawls from our breast as seats for Krishna? The Brihad Vamana Purana says the Shrutis, following in the footsteps of the gopis, executed severe austerities in order to obtain bodies of gopis. Therefore, the Shrutis, or personified Vedas, prayed in the Srimad Bhagavatam 1087:23 as follows: O women of Braj, attain the nectar of Krishna's lotus feet. After having their intelligence vanquished by the sharp poison of his beautiful serpentine arms, by following in their footsteps, we too will become gopis and serve Krishna's lotus feet. The Shrutis had seen Krishna doing his appearance in the previous day of Brahma and had become full of the most intense desire to associate with him. Then, in this kalpa, they became gopis. Since the Vedas are eternal in human society, the Shrutis in this kalpa also become full of desire for Krishna, and in next kalpa, they too will become gopis.
That was an amazing, that last part really blew me away. So this is a path that people follow to become gopis. It keeps on repeating itself. That's a very, what's your realization of this, Mukunda?
Yeah, this is a very popular verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, Shri Uragindra Bhoga Bhuja Danda Vishakta Dio. It's like where it mentions in the 87th chapter. So the personified Vedas, remember it says that the whole purpose of the Vedas, just like Srimad Bhagavatam, is love of Radha and Krishna. So the gopis, the personified Vedas witnessing kalpa after kalpa, the beauty of this Leela, which is described in the personification of all the Vedas, Srimad Bhagavatam, they also have this desire. So Krishna fulfills that desire, and then every kalpa, you have one set of Sadhana Siddha gopis who are called Shruti Chari gopis.
It's amazing. It's just to conceive of that. Wonderful. So anyone else? Just no.
For me, it shines a ray of hope that it's an example of someone who has attained perfection and been invited into this divine, intimate exchange. And they reached their perfection by following a particular process. And if you read the Chaitanya Charitamrita, we'll head and go into that section at the end of this whole study later on at the end of the Rasa dance, and talks between Ramananda Roy and Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya says, now I know the goal of life, but how do I attain it? What is the path? And that will be expounded upon. And as I hinted before in the beginning, Shravanam Kirtanam of these topics helps one, acts as an udipan, as an inspiration to attain that. It's not just some utopian story.
Amazing. Really amazing to me how that in this kalpa, the next set of personified Vedas and the Shrutis will become gopis. That I never realized it like that. It's just really astounding. Okay, let's go on. Ranga, would you like to read?
Yes. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, perfectly.
Text 14, Sharata Darshani. Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, for whom the great masters of mystic meditation arrange a seat within their hearts, took his seat in the assembly of gopis. His transcendental body, the exclusive abode of beauty and opulence within the three worlds, shone brilliantly as the gopis worshipped him. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Krishna sat upon the various seats laid out by the successive groups of gopis. But it may be questioned, how could Krishna sit upon so many seats with only one body? Because Krishna is the controller, Ishvara. He expanded his form into many without anyone noticing in order to fulfill his desires, Bhagavan. The word bhaga means desire, kama, as well as wealth and glory, according to the Amar Kosha directory. Therefore, here the word Bhagavan means Kamavan, one who possesses desires. As soon as Krishna, Ashvara Shakti, Ishvara, noted his desire to sit on all the seats, these forms were manifested by his Yogamaya potency. The indestructible, most valued sitting place of the Lord, which is difficult to attain by anyone in these worlds, is established deep in the hearts of the masters of the mystic meditation, like Shiva and Anantasesh. The Braj Gopis, however, having conquered the Lord by their intense, selfless love, arranged a seat for Krishna outside of their hearts with their own garments, which were fragrant with the perfume of that they had used. Krishna accepted those seats, and it appeared most resplendent as he sat on them. He who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who even such person associates of Brahma and Shiva, must approach within prayers of the shore of the milk ocean. Whereupon he mystically appeared within their minds for a single moment, has now become the personal associate of the gopis.
Okay. See, this answered it right here. This purport answered that, the question that we had. Does anyone want to, Pati, you want to talk about how that
No, let
answered?
Ranga say something.
Oh,
if she-
Ranga, say something about that.
No, it's Krishna is the supreme transcendental entertainer, and when he wants to do something, he calls upon all the actors within him, and they just become the personality that he wants them to be. I was just reading to my grandson the story of the 7 bulls that Krishna had to tie up, and in order to get the wife, the daughter. And so he just manifests himself into 7 different Krishnas. And he got the job done easily and quickly, and to the wonder of all those that were watching. So, I get so bewildered by the number of billions of gopis. How many gopis were here at the Rasa dance? Do we know?
3 billion. 3
It said
billion?
16 billion, didn't it? Or 3 billion. Yeah,
Yeah.
3 billion.
3 billion.
3 billion. That's like such a phenomenal number. And the fact that, Krishna could just become 3 billion gopi dancers.
If you think that he is expanded in infinite living entities' hearts in the
Yes.
material world, what
Yes,
to speak
that's
of
true.
in this? He's associating with everyone. He is the main associator. So when I
Yeah.
think of when I think of the Paramatma and how Krishna is expanding, it makes it conceivable to me, a little conceivable,
Yeah.
that he has a relationship with everyone.
Yeah,
know,
and how about the fact that he's in every atom? And it's not, you can't even
Sure.
count that, he's everywhere all the time. It's just only Krishna.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
it's not. It is only Krishna, but he's eternally ago. He expanded himself so he could have relationships, right?
Yeah.
Well, Kundu, you want to say something?
Yeah, it's interesting because I'm looking at the commentary of Jiva Goswami, and he's saying, and the acharyas do that. They sometimes have different points of view.
Yeah,
The
to
Jiva
confuse
Goswami,
us more.
well, you can only recognize it's very beautiful. He says, while sitting on the seat, the Krishna moon, which swells the ocean of Prem Ras, who is Bhagavan himself, meaning that he's sitting there, although he's replete with all the 6 opulences from Aishwarya and Ishvara, and although he manifests those qualities in ways never seen before, the rise of the resplendence of that kind of praying, the mere Bhagavata Tattva, or Ishvara Tattva, could not accommodate it.
Whoa, wow.
The rise of the Prem and the gopis.
No, he's saying the rise of the Prem and the Gopis is
And
the
the
initiating
gopis.
cause, because Krishna's Aishwarya would not be suitable in this environment. So they try just giving different examples. Some from Tattva, Vichar, some
Beautiful.
from Ras Vichar. Very nice.
Yes.
Beautiful. Hare Krishna.
Who can imagine that there is something that a particular Shakti of Krishna's can't accommodate, but that is so poetic and beautiful, pointing out that the rasa was just overflowing to the point where it was stretched.
You know, you can just imagine Krishna wants a situation that he can't accommodate.
Yeah.
He wants
Nice.
that profound love. Bhusha.
That's very nice that it's mentioned there that Bhagavan is Kamavan, and Kamavan being the highest opulence and the highest quality, because as the Guru's very kindly given us, because he's connected with Krishna like that he's given us the Kama Gayatri, so that's our link to Bhagavan Sri Krishna.
Oh my God. Thank you.
I think Manvantara.
Manvantara, I was going to ask you to read. Good that you raised your hand. What can we do?
So when I'm trying to understand how Krishna is outside the seat and seated with the gopis, and I'm recalling the Damodar prayer when it is said in one of the slokas, "I don't even want to know your feature of Paramatma." And so it's relating to the ecstasy that the speaker was feeling, and I'm thinking is probably the same thing, right? That the gopis are experiencing with that verse from the Damodar Astika.
Well, they're not thinking that that's the Paramatma. They're not thinking that that's the Paramatma. You know, they're seeing Krishna. I had a vision the other day. It was very humorous, actually. Can you imagine everyone walking around having this rasa with Krishna, and millions of people are having a relationship with Krishna simultaneously. So how is he doing that? In the same way he's doing that in everyone's heart. He has a potency to expand himself outside of everyone's heart in the spiritual world. You know, that has to be accepted.
Just like the 16,108 wives, each one of them had Krishna within their own palace. But when he walked out of the palace and was going to the Sabha, they all merged into the one.
I mean, he can do that.
Similarly, we'll read here that those demigods who were flying above the rasa dance when it starts, and they came and they witnessed it, they could see all the different Krishnas, but each of the gopis thought he was dancing with her alone. It's a potency that makes it intimate with each person. But going back to your topic, Manvantara, that particular verse says, "I don't even want to know your feature of Paramatma. I simply wish that your childhood pastimes may ever be enacted in my heart." That's a little bit different sentiment. What's happening here, the reason the Paramatma example is being given is because it's not just within their hearts. It's being described that he's actually sitting in front of their faces, reciprocating with them very personally, whereas Paramatma is generally more of a meditative experience.
Exactly. So that's very helpful. Thank you. That's a very helpful thought on it. Thank you very much.
So do you want to read now the next?
Sure.
Wait a minute. It's the same verse, but
this.
2 paragraphs down.
The word architas means Krishna was honored by presentations of betel nut, joking words, smiles, and sidelong glances. In some cases, the word architas, worshipped, is replaced by the word achyuta, which means that Krishna sat there for a long time accepting worship. Why did Krishna appear among the gopis? Whose transcendental body is the exclusive reservoir of the manifold opulences of beauty, wealth, power, and fame, which are found in his own infinite expansions throughout the lower, middle, and upper regions of the material and spiritual worlds, was nourished by immersing in the sweet ocean of the gopis' radiant beauty, soft smiles, and sidelong glances.
Right.
Another meaning, from the very moment Krishna sat shining amongst the gopis on the bank of the Yamuna, the masters of mystic yoga, like Lord Shiva, brought Krishna into their own hearts by meditations characterized by Krishna appearing beautifully in the midst of the gopis and exhibiting various talks and joking gestures.
So this reciprocation of love, that's what we're talking about. That's what being exhibited here. This reciprocation of love between Krishna and the gopis, and both or all of them are just enjoying that like anything on a completely pure spiritual platform. Can you say something about this verse or this purport that you read, Mama Dara?
No, I've been
Okay,
hearing it, but I really it's like it's so far above my head. I'm just trying to appreciate it.
that's good. Thank you, Bahusha.
I noticed there that it's very nicely describing how Krishna will appear with each gopi. In other words, it's more than perfect. In other words, can you imagine is that you see Krishna with another gopi, and then you say, well, I want to be with Krishna. But Krishna immediately fulfills that desire. And that desire, that way, then it's perfectly complete. And one doesn't have to hanker for anything more because you don't want anything more. Krishna's right there with you.
Wow, that is the special prerogative of the gopis. That and of Mother Yasoda and all of the residents of Braj. You know, we can say that we're chanting the holy name, but we are still covered by matter, so we can't recognize that. We don't have that yet. Hare Krishna. Jatari.
I was just kind of I noticed one word in there that where Krishna is joking with the gopis, and I was I was just trying to imagine what those jokes were. Does anybody know? I mean, what he just like.
He's quite a jokester. He is a trickster.
Yeah.
Well, you can read some of them in some of the different Goswami's literatures. They actually have conversations there where Krishna's joking with Radharani or one of the gopis, and it goes tit for tat, tit for tat.
Oh.
And it's remarkable poetry.
Okay.
Gopala Champu.
Oh.
Yes.
That is the
Ujjvala Nilamani.
Thank you.
These are wonderful. Okay. Shall we continue on? Pushkar Prabhu, would you like to read? I'm going to try it again with you. Are you there? I did see you for a minute.
Okay.
Oh, good. We can hear you perfectly. Why don't you read?
Okay. All right. So 15, right? Sorry.
Right.
Shri Krishna had awakened romantic desires within the gopis, and they honored him by glancing at him with playful smiles, gesturing amorously with their eyebrows, and massaging his hands and feet as they held them in their laps. Even while worshipping him, however, they felt somewhat angry, and thus they addressed him as follows. Vishwanath says, this verse describes the actions of gopis who did not want to submit to Krishna's advances for conjugal love, glancing with explicit movements of their eyebrows, expressing their individual feelings. The gopis, here we go, the gopis, expressing their individual feelings, the gopis honored Krishna, who incites lust within them. Sabha Jayatva means that the gopis were honoring Krishna with appropriate emotions in order to conceal their affectionate anger, thinking, previously Krishna abandoned us. Now he has come for his own enjoyment. To hide their anger, they began to praise Krishna while taking his feet and hands on their laps. Okay. Ankakata can also indicate that the gopis placed their hands and feet on Krishna's lap. Pleased with the touch of Krishna's hands and feet, the gopis praised him. Ah, your feet and hands are extraordinarily cool. Having relieved us of the painful fire of separation, you are truly the pleasing moon who knows no distress or sorrow. After praising Krishna with such sarcastic words, the gopis became slightly angry, even though their anger had somewhat reduced due to the ecstasy of seeing Krishna. Still, a trace remained in their minds. In this mental state, they began to speak.
Oh, so what does this actually mean, Pushkar?
What does it actually mean? Pretty
Well,
much
can you-
explained it. Well, yeah, well, they're being sarcastic. Previously, you left us, but now you're back. And, well, one thing I don't really, is there groups of gopis? Who knows? Who can say? Or is each gopi still individually having the hands and feet in the lap or
each gopi, it looks like each gopi, according to what we read, each gopi was having a personal relationship with Krishna at this time. He's
Yeah.
associating with them.
Yeah, okay. So that's I don't know, they're sarcastic. I guess they're simultaneously all feeling the similar bhav.
Well, we're just about to read in the next paragraph from the Krishna book, the how their anger is coming to a little bit of a head, and so they're going to ask him in the following lesson, the following study,
All right.
those different questions. But why don't we go back to that, Pati, and have Madan? Madan, you want to read from the Krishna book, and then
Well,
we
that's
can.
coming up. Let's finish
Oh,
this.
you wanna finish that?
I'm thinking, let's go further. Pushkar, that was a beautiful way you read that. You could tell as you read it, it sounded like you were kind of envisioning it.
Yeah.
The gopis are happy and pleased and satisfied and now finally with Krishna on the banks of the Jamuna, but simultaneously there's a pushing within their hearts in a particular group that are disturbed. Like, why did he do that? It's an underlying current that's there simultaneous to their holding his hands in their lap and exchanging with him intimately. So it's not fully, the current of love is not fully unhindered. There's still something going on there that needs to be worked out before freedom of expression of love without hindrance, without that obstacle, can manifest.
Anything else?
Uh,
Pushkar, yeah, why don't you say something else, Pushkar?
well, can I look at the page again?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so Ankakata, that the gopis placed their hands. Pleased with the touch of Krishna's hands and feet, the gopis praised him. Your feet and hands are extraordinarily cool, having relieved us of the painful fire of separation. Yeah, that reminded me of this term.
That would be a far out painting to
Yeah.
try and capture that emotion.
Right. So there's several verses like that. I can't really say one immediately, but I'm thinking of this term, Vishamrita, one of Rupa Goswami's Dagda Madhava verses. Well, there's more than one, I'm sure, but this term Vishamrita means it's simultaneously like it's in the Ancha 1. I can't recall the exact verse, but it brings nectar. It's simultaneously like the bite of the serpent and like pouring nectar and on the head. So
right. Nice connection. Yeah,
That's
beautiful.
what they're
That's exactly what's going on.
That is what's going to be happening. I think we should read the next part in the Krishna book, because that also doesn't it have something to do with it? How the gopis are they're happy, but they're very reserved, but they're still angry. They're upset with him that he put them through that horrible ordeal of being of hiding from them.
But I mean, this being bitten by a serpent is no like joking thing. Like, things come online all the time. So they were showing the 50 most poisonous serpents in the world, and then had the king cobra, but the king cobra, he's very long. He's like 18, 20 feet. They're not that fat, but it's pretty scary, right? But his bite, you could be saved from the cobra bite, but there's other little snakes that aren't that big. When they bite you, like you have 15 minutes to live, like
Here, read this one, Prabhu. Oh, let me get it smaller.
yeah.
You can't.
This is the verse, right?
Yeah, I just have to, give me a second here for technical adjustment of the page. There you go.
From the Ancha. I'm not seeing the poisonous effects of love of God defeat the severe fresh poison of the serpent. Yet there is simultaneously transcendental bliss which pours down and defeats the poisonous effects of a snake, as well as the happiness derived from pouring nectar on your head. It is perceived as doubly effective, simultaneously poisonous and nectarian. So, like if you were simultaneously, if something could counteract what we could read biologically happens when you get bit by a really poisonous snake. There's some snake in Australia. There's several, but no one ever encounters it, fortunately, hardly. But you could actually poison 200,000 people, or like one drop.
We're talk more about the poisonous effect of developing love for Krishna.
Well, I think it's a dramatic expression here. Like, most people, if they get that effect, they die, right? You're dead. I mean, come on.
Exactly. If you're bit by the snake, you're going to die.
Yeah, not always. I mean, there is.
Don't go to the banks of the Yamuna. Do not go down there.
Like that. Smaram bangi trai parichitam sachi vestina drishtim sake bandhu sti ranga. If you're attached still to your family life, then I'm telling you, don't see Krishna in the moonlight, Chandrakena, Kushalayam with his playing his flute. Be very nice.
This is even a little bit different, because they are feeling right now very, very, in a very sophisticated, sweet manner, they are still angry with Krishna. They are. And that's burning them. That's burning them. I think that's what's being referred to in these verses until we come to the next section when the question will be asked.
So I think that's a little over my pay grade to imagine a separation of Krishna, because first of all, we haven't really had the association. You can't appreciate separation and the pain of it. So, but Rupa Goswami and others are giving a masterful description.
Well, that feeling the separation, I also has been meditating upon feeling the separation of Krishna without having attained Krishna. The fact is that it's natural in this condition to awaken that feeling of separation from Krishna. It is. It's natural for the soul to open that up in his heart. Even though we haven't been there, we can actually understand that we're not there. The more we hear about this, we're not present there. So that develops into some
There was
separation.
a thing I heard years ago from that, and I guess it pertained to me, because Prabhupada said it's a Siddha Sarup, apparently. Now, I don't know how many people are still alive, probably very few people were there when it was said, what to speak of if they're around now, that Prabhupada said, just try to understand, Krishna is not here.
Yo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Krishna is not here. It's a greatly existential, ecstatic.
That he's not here, but also, why are we chanting? He's in his name. So he's not here. And he said it's a Siddha Sarup. So
yeah, okay.
that's
That reminds me, I just found a shloka that I had scribbled. What did I do with it? You probably heard this. It's one of Rupa Goswami, Astakam No, it's a Sanatana Goswami shloka from Brihad Bhagavatamrita, but I had scribbled it down. I found it. Shiman Nama Prabhostasya Shri Murtir Apyati Priyam Jagadhitam Sukopasyam Sarasam Tat Samang Nahi. Basically, it's saying the Lord's beautiful name is more more deep than the form of the deity. More important. What did I scribble it so bad I can't read it?
Oh, that is so nice.
I
That
think that's the
even just
introduction to the
hearing
book.
that,
Yeah.
that's perfect. So
And
don't tell me that Krishna is not present.
so it gives pleasure to the entire world. Easily worships this form of Krishna. You know, like Mantra Mortam Amortikam. Even in the first canto, that's that verse by Narad Muni where he's saying, Iti Morcha Bidanena Mantra Mortim Amortikam Yajate Yagat Purusham. Basically with the last line. But I think it's in 1.5 or 4. Yeah. Saying that Abhidanena, his form is there. He has no material form, but his form is his name.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes, yes.
Makunda, did you have
Namino.
something?
Namino.
Makunda, did you have your hand raised and then take it down?
Yeah. I didn't want to, but actually what happens here too is there's mixed things going on. One thing is called Abhita Bhav, so they're kind of concealing their feelings. At the same time, there's some man which has grown because they want answers to the questions.
What was the term again?
Avahita Bhav, like in Venu Gita.
Avahita means covering
to
it, hiding
conceal.
it.
Yeah,
Okay.
conceal.
That's AVA.
You can phonetically, if you is comfortable.
Avahita?
Yes, it means to conceal your feelings, right? So they're concealing, but at the same time, there's the progression of when you meet again. So when Krishna reappeared, this is called Sandarshan. So now they're having the vision of Krishna, then some sparsha. They're touching his hands. Then there should be Sanjalpa. They'll have a conversation. And of course, we haven't gotten to that conversation yet, but then that will lead to Samprayog,
means when they can actually fully be together
Yes.
like us.
Well, we're not there. We're just
Yeah, we're not
now
there yet.
coming. We're just now getting there.
Let's do one thing here. Let's read. I want to read that verse. I'll read it because I can see it on my computer easier than you can. The verse Pushkar was referring to about the whole verse, and then we'll go on with the question and the next section. My dear beautiful friend, if one develops love of Krishna, love of Godhead, love of Krishna, the son of Maharaj Nanda, all the bitter and sweet influences of this love will manifest in one's heart. Such love of Godhead acts in two ways. The poisonous effects of love of Godhead defeat the severe and fresh poison of the serpent. Yet there is simultaneously transcendental bliss, which pours down and defeats the poisonous effects of a snake, as well as the happiness derived from pouring nectar on one's head. It is perceived as doubly effective, simultaneously poisonous and nectarian.
Wow. So the Bhagavatam answers everything. That is perfect. That is such a wonderful description.
So let us.
Okay, let's go on. Madan, do you want to read this? Read this section here. Uncle Krita. Oh,
Krishna book 16, text
Yep.
16. Having gotten their most beloved Lord, the gopis began to please him by moving their eyebrows and smiling, and also by suppressing their anger. Some of them took his lotus feet in their laps and began to massage him. And while smiling, they confidentially expressed their suppressed anger and said, "Dear Krishna, we are ordinary women of Vrindavan and do not know much about Vedic knowledge. What is right and what is wrong? We therefore put a question to you, and since you are very learned, you can answer it properly. In dealings between lovers, we find that there are three classes of men. One class simply receives, another class reciprocates favorably, even if the lover is contrary, And the third class neither acts contrary nor answers favorably in dealings of love. So, out of these three classes, what do you prefer, or which do you call honest?
Now let's read the same psalm on another person and go through the, we're getting a little late here, so let's
Okay.
just read straight
I
through
just-
and then see if there's
Oh,
any further to talk.
Okay. Bahushra, you want to go?
Text 16, Sarartha Darshini. The gopi said, some people reciprocate the affection only of those who are affectionate towards them, while others show affection even to those who are indifferent or inimical. And yet others will not show affection towards anyone. Dear Krishna, please properly explain this matter to us. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Each of the gopis personally considered within her mind, since Krishna has put us, who are the crest jewels of all his loving devotees, into such an unfortunate condition, we should ask him why he did it. Other gopis thought, "Oh Krishna, do you have love for us, indifference to us, or enmity toward us?" Even though there are these three possibilities, we cannot ascertain which is the fact. Moreover, is your love conditional or unconditional? It cannot be conditional because the person with conditional love gratifies those who help him fulfill his desires, and therefore does not neglect them or subject them to misery. You, however, have tried to kill us by burning us in the fire of separation from you. And neither is your love unconditional, since you abandoned us in the dense, fearful forest in the middle of the night. Though seeing our suffering, you were not at all bereaved. And what we see, some motive. So it cannot be unconditional. Wow.
That's intense words. Do you want to?
Yeah.
Let's keep reading all the way through.
Oh,
please.
Well, we can also understand that you are not indifferent to us because we see that you try. Wait.
Oh, you want him to keep reading?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That you try. I lost it. Neither empty. Happy and sad. Neither is an empty, which would have us to either permanent dislike or enmity in a particular connection with some of unfavorable reciprocation. It is not permanent dislike because we don't see it in you. Neither is it from unfavorable actions because we have done nothing inimical toward you. Rather, you serve as the example of a person who has that sort of perverted enmity, symptomatized by the vicious desire to harm those who trust one. We should not state this openly with our own mouths, but we will ask such questions in the form of riddles, so that neither himself will give the appropriate answer, and thus the truth of this matter will become evident.
Okay, wait. Let's get Manvantar. You want to read? Finish up here.
Sure.
Pause.
Because the gopis were feeling the same sentiment within each of their hearts, they all reflected in a similar way. Then these gopis of similar minds spoke. O most intelligent one, O Krishna, please answer this riddle of ours. There are some people who only respect those who respect them. Their respect is conditional. They give respect expecting something. And if they do not get that, then they no longer give respect. This is conditional love. Quite to the contrary of this, there are those who give respect to those who do not respect them. They are unconditional respect.
They have unconditional.
Thank you. They have unconditional respect. Not expecting any result for themselves, they have unconditional love. The third type of people are those who do not respect anyone, whether that person respects them or not. There is no question of conditional or unconditional love here. Those people are indifferent. Hatred and enmity are also reciprocation. So persons who are hateful and inimical also fall in the category of non-respect.
Ooh, Hare Krishna.
Okay, Priyaji.
Yes.
This topic is going to be expanded upon by Krishna's answer, in Krishna's answer, thoroughly, and we've already covered our time here. So I think what we'll do is stop here, and then we'll revisit the question and Krishna's answer, which is
Okay.
posted tomorrow. And then Saturday, just to remind everyone, Saturday is our last Zoom prior to the Christmas season and the holidays and the New Year and the whole thing. So we'll have our Zoom on Saturday as scheduled, and then we'll go through the holidays, because Krishna's answer finishes the chapter 32. So we'll begin at chapter 33 in January after a couple-week break. So for now,
But
we'll-
next week we'll have a Zoom
yes. So we'll
on Saturday.
yes.
Okay.
Okay, and we'll open this package for Christmas
Wow.
and read it.
This is quite a Christmas present. Hare Krishna.
So thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Vanchakalpadivishcha, Kripa Sindhubhya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Sham.
Radhe Sham. Thank you.